Today, I wanted to talk to you about Viceless Workholding with clamps, specifically quick clamps, or sometimes called bar clamps. These clamps are made by Irwin. These are the ones I prefer because they can do this. This is really useful. The first use of having the end come off is that now I can use my dog holes, put the clamp through the dog hole and put the bottom back on, allowing me to use it as a push down or pull down clamp. This can also be done on the apron. Stick it through the apron, put the end back on, now it can clamp it against the apron. But also, these clamps can be switched from squeeze to push. This can be really useful. Normally, you would ram something up against the plane stop and plane it. But if you want to be carving on this instead of planing on it, for example, there are quite a few other operations you can do, then you need to secure this in all directions. There are a lot of ways that you can do that with a plane stop. But if you want to use one of these clamps, a dog, a second dog, let's put it right here. Okay, now, this can be, there you go, locked in. Now this is solid onto the surface and it won't move forward or backwards or left or right. Use number one for the Irwin Quick Clamp. I have them in various lengths, 6-inch, 12-inch, and 24-inch. They also come in 18, although my supplier hasn't had any since the first time I bought them. Mostly on my workbench, I use the 6-inch clamps I use through the dog holes. So I'll use it either through the top dog hole with the bottom back on and clamping down to the surface, or I'll use it through the apron with the bottom on the inside and clamping it to the face. That's my primary use for the 6-inch clamp. The 12-inch clamp I use on my split top frequently to clamp boards across the top, either against the face. So if I'm sawing that vertically, I might clamp it across the face, or I can clamp it from the apron onto the top of the bench for work this way. If you want to use 2 clamps to secure a piece, I'll get another one. Okay, so 2 clamps, that is now solidly secured to the worktop. For edge clamping, even with an apron, you just get a clamp that's the appropriate length. Clamp it on the edge. Good solid clamp. Let's fire a quick line across here. Grab our cross-cut saw. We're going to do this right-handed. Start our cut. Extend it across. we can do the same thing on the side. Drop that on there, clamp that on, leave our board hanging over. We don't need a line here, but we'll throw one anyway. Let's just randomly cut here. Throw that down in the face. Crosscut saw. Make sure this is clamped tight. Start our cut. We'll do this right-handed. Normally operations at this end of the bench would be right-handed because your left hand can manage the lead. But you can do it left-handed if you prefer. I'm a little more sure with my right. And you can see perfectly taken the line and square cut. Holds it more than adequately. And these clamps are not at all hard to use one-handed. They're light, they're quick. You can easily use the clamp itself one hand and have one hand free for the wood. Okay, using quick clamps through the top. Take off the end, drop it in your dog hole, put the head or tail, whatever, back on. Now you've got a vertical clamp that you can use in pretty much any configuration. Hold stuff down to the surface. These clamps can put a lot of force on there, so you don't really need two. But if you're doing a lot of forced work at an angle, especially if you're hammering with a chisel or whatever, a second clamp can help. So that's against the top. This allows for all kinds of configurations. Because the clamp can rotate, you can use it in different positions to achieve different results. This one's overhanging the edge a little. So if I were cutting this dado with a rabbet plane with a fence, that would allow the fence to track. You can do the same thing by putting it through the apron. And you can put the end on either down, which will allow you to rotate through these angles, or you can put it up, but it will, depending on how close it is to the top, it might hit the top or something. So generally when I'm using on the apron, I point it downwards, unless I'm well towards the bottom of a larger piece. So it's the same thing. Drop it on, clip it on. It's now stuck on there. Clamp a piece to the side in any number of configurations. You can put it in there so that it's just proud of the top for edge planing. Clamp that down, now that's square. Okay, you can clamp it vertically using the body of the plane for support if you are doing dovetail work or if you're doing mortises, or if you're doing finger joints. You notice there's a bit of rattle in there. That's because that's so high. If I don't need the vertical support, I can bring this down to a more reasonable level and cinch that up.